All right, in this episode, I'm talking to PGA Tour Pro Nick Hardy. He was great, great personality, a lot of game. We talked about his golf game. We talked about peeing his pants during a college event. Actually, this is a big urine podcast. It comes up more than once. Meeting the GOAT. I go through and I show some pictures, found some old pictures of him on Instagram. We go back through a social media walkthrough. He's got some funny stories to tell. He was very entertaining, a lot of fun, and he really does have some serious game. This guy's proven it on some tough golf courses. I think he's primed to win this year on the PGA Tour. If you're playing DFS, if you're betting, you need to know who this guy is for sure. And even if you're not, this is a great interview that shows a young kid with a lot of promise and a great personality. I think you're going to enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, please hit the like button here on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel and drop a comment. Tell me your favorite part about the Nick Hardy interview. Tell me what you'd like to hear from the next guy we talk to. That would all be greatly appreciated. And yeah, stick around the YouTube channel for more awesome content. But for now, enjoy this with Nick Hardy. What's going on, golf addicts? DB here with another solid interview for you. You guys probably already know this dude. Nick Hardy joins us. Nick, we appreciate you being on the show. We're going to have a good time with you today. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. All right, I want to get this out of the way, Nick. I got to hear this story about a Big Ten championship and peeing your pants. Tell the story.
um, yeah, so we were on about the 15th tee box at Baltimore Country Club. I think it was my junior year, maybe my senior year, but whatever. My teammate was younger. We had a big backup on the 15th tee. I believe it was the second round of 3-round tournament, and it was probably 3 groups on the tee. It was just a really big backup. Everyone was waiting a long time, and me and my teammates on the tee box at the time were kind of goofing off, and I think one of them went over in the trees and did his business over there. Came back, and he was like laughing at me, and I'm like, "What are you like smirking about?" And I kind of looked down and I saw why, and he's just kind of a very sensitive, maybe a little awkward freshman at the time, and yeah, I just knew his personality, and I knew that he was kind of embarrassed, and because there was a bunch of people on the tee box, maybe a bunch of family and friends watching, and I think we were wearing kind of like a lighter colored pants at the time, so it was pretty obvious, and I just laughed at him, and I kind of went and did my business as well right after, and I came back, and it was kind of a funny joke at the time. I just thought it was funny to do, and I think he appreciated it more than I thought he would. And so he went over. He was the next group up right away. He hit his tee shot. I think it was pretty close. He hit it like a 5-iron inside 10 feet, made the putt, and I think he gave me a little more credit than I should have gotten. But he said that it really helped him. So I'm glad it helped him, and we finished that day strong, I think. And yeah, it was just a funny thing. I didn't really think much of it. I just kind of did it as a joke. Did it to kind of make him laugh, and I think it really helped him, I guess, because that's what he says. So funny.
What a guy. What a guy you are, Nick Hardy. Bravo to you, man. That's awesome. That's really funny. You might be too young. I don't know. Maybe not. Did you ever see the movie Billy Madison?
Oh yeah.
If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis when the old lady says that. I don't know. I just thought about that when you when I saw that story. That's pretty freaking funny, dude. I want to kind of get started with some funnier stuff. I think this could be interesting. So I also want to do something. We're going to do a social media time travel. Okay, Nick. I'm going to pull up some of your social media content over the last few years, and we're just going to talk through what we see. The first picture here is you, I guess, with the goat. Is this at Chambers? Is that where that is?
Yeah, that was Chambers Bay, my first U.S. Open. It was on the Sunday before the tournament, so it was well before the tournament started, and we were the only 2 basically on the course, and we're both on
Wow.
the green. And so, like, I was really, really nervous because obviously Tiger Woods is like my
Yeah.
idol, and I think it's everybody's. But there's certain people when you're around them in person, you're like, wow, I can't believe they're real. And like Tiger's one of few people for me that when I'm around him, it's like, geez, like this just he doesn't feel like he's human to me because he's like that big of an idol to me. And
Yeah.
I was, I don't think you can tell by that picture, but my legs were shaking.
Yeah. So you didn't get to play a practice round with him or anything. You were just on the putting green with him.
No, just on the putting green, first time myself, like going up and introducing myself, and he couldn't have been nicer.
How, any interactions with him since then?
Yeah, a couple. I asked for a couple pictures since then, but just other than just seeing each other and
Yeah.
crossing by in a parking lot or something, it was nothing else. But that was a time that struck me for sure.
I could imagine, like, yeah, like the moments between when you decide that, "Okay, I'm gonna walk up and introduce myself," and then the moment of actually introducing yourself. I could imagine that would be very nerve-wracking for, for a young up and coming golfer walking up to Tiger Woods. That would have been
Yeah,
another situation where I would have seen it completely normal had you peed your pants again.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. Alright, so let's look at the next one. These are gonna get fun. What would you have told this guy about what's to come? I think that's you in the middle. I'll be surprised if it's not you in the middle, but, for those of you listening and not watching, young looks like a youth baseball picture of Nick. So thinking back to that kid, what would you have told him? Like, what would you have prepared him for? Maybe something you would have told him to do different, something like that.
I it's hard for me to say because I feel like I'm lucky and blessed myself to have given knowing what I know now. I feel like the path that I kind of ran on athletically, personally, the path was made for me, and I feel like there's nothing that I regret of that. So it's hard for me to go back and tell Nick back when I was 12 playing travel baseball, like to do anything differently because I think the experiences I was given since then and I mean, there's never failures, but the hardships that you kind of go through when you play sports or even just golf professionally, everyone runs into roadblocks, and I don't think there's any roadblocks through the way that I say, "Oh, I regret going through that path," or say, "Hey, Nick, you should have done this." I don't think I'd tell him anything. I'd just kind of say, "Head down, keep doing what you're doing, and like having fun playing baseball, but also working hard and um, just learning from those experiences." I think it's hard for me to just say one thing, and I know that's not a
Yeah.
great answer, but honestly, I'm just blessed that I was, I played baseball as long as I did and didn't stick to golf. Early on, I'm glad I went through all my travel baseball years and didn't quit playing baseball because there's times where I thought about quitting baseball just to give up for golf, and I'm proud of the summers that I spent playing double headers and 18-hole golf tournament in one day.
Oof. So so was it pretty much golf and baseball for you, or was it other sports there too?
It was pretty much just golf and baseball. I
Yeah.
played basketball in middle school, but I mean, it was golf and baseball, and summers would include tons of baseball, maybe 40, 50 games in a summer with 12 tournaments of golf.
Well, you had a pretty, I mean, just I can't rattle it off, but you had a pretty really good, young amateur career, age AGA stuff, and obviously in high school. When did you hang up baseball?
Going into high school, freshman
Going
year
in.
of high school. Yeah, I almost quit baseball maybe when I was 11 or 12, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't because I got to experience Cooperstown. I got to experience playing
Oh,
tons of
did you
games.
play in the Little League World Series?
No, no, no.
Oh,
But when I was 12, I
okay.
went over to Cooperstown with this team, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we played. Played in Cooperstown. That was so cool, an experience that I always remember. But I'm just glad I went through with baseball until high school.
So I played baseball my whole life. I didn't start playing golf till I graduated high school. Started in 19, and like I am still to this day. I will be 39 in a few months. I am still fighting this over the top baseball casting move. Like I gotta. Is that why like you guys? Because I talked to another guy similar. Kind of quit baseball, hung up baseball going into high school to focus on golf. Is that really the biggest reason why, or is it just more you just want to dedicate more time to that sport?
I absolutely agree with you. I have habits that I battle in my golf swing that are definitely
Me?
related to baseball. Like I get narrow with my hands on the downswing, and I tend to get a little steep with the club plane,
Yep.
and that's baseball right there. Like when you're going through the hitting, when you're keeping the bat as long as you can in the zone, that's what you have to do. You have to keep your hands kind of in close to the
Yep.
body, and you're really just keeping that bat in the zone as long as possible. And when you're a golfer, you want the opposite on the downswing. You want your hands and especially right elbow almost like as long and extended as possible to keep that width. And
Yep.
especially with the long clubs like a driver, because you're trying to swing up on it, you can't be narrow. And so I'm always fighting, staying staying wide with my right arm and keeping those hands almost away from me, and doing a lot of work with turning with your body. So that's really the one thing. I think there's a lot of things that go to correlate well with baseball and golf swing, but that's one thing that I always fight to.
Yep. Well, hopefully one day I can figure it out. You've obviously figured it out. Speaking of baseball, how cool is this? I mean, I know you're an Illinois guy, went to, born and raised in Illinois, played college golf, University of Illinois. It looks like you're a pretty big Chicago sports fan. The Bears, the Cubs. You get to throw out the first pitch at the Cubs game where I'm sure you were nervous a little bit, but any other like untold kind of interesting moments about how that whole thing went down?
Yeah, well, I was so nervous. That's probably equal to my first U.S. Open, first tee nervous. Like, that was definitely equal to that. I was really nervous because I didn't want to screw up and miss the, miss the plate or anything. But no, that was such a cool experience. It kind of happened through me getting a spot. At the time, I had no status. I got a spot in the Corn Ferry event in Chicago, and my manager kind of knew the guy who coordinates throwing out the first pitch at the Cubs game, and in order for me to help get a spot at the tournament, he parlayed that with, "Hey, Nick can throw out the first pitch at the Cubs game and kind of have a advertisement for the tournament." And so that's how it happened. I would say, like, I kind of selfishly, I kind of wish I had a little more success as a pro golfer before I did that, because I felt like, hey, like, I haven't really proved myself, like,
Yeah.
and I get to go throw the first pitch of the Cup game, like, right now. Like, I'd rather have done it after I actually won something. But no, I was proud of it, and it was a really cool moment.
So where'd the pitch go?
It was well inside to a righty batter, but I threw it pretty hard, which is definitely something I'm proud of.
You jammed him up a little
I've
bit.
got I've got a good arm.
Good, good. Okay. All right. All right. This next one. What in the world is happening here? It looks like you have your caddy on your shoulders, and I'm trying to figure out what that would be for. So please tell
Oh
the
my,
story.
this is a great. I mean, this is hilarious. At the time, my caddy and I, Eric, were playing the Illinois Open, and as you can see, those reeves are so tall.
They are. Yeah,
So,
you're
like,
playing Field of Dreams.
yes, yeah. So, like, the pin and the green was like blind because of those reefs, because the green was like over water and to the right. So in order for us to get a clean line of we were allowed to use rangefinders in this tournament. So in order to use the rangefinder, we would have had to go like 50, 60 yards to the left and have to, like, get a horizontal line with my ball to make sure that the yard is correct. And so I'm like, hey, Eric, just get on my shoulders and shoot the rangefinder above the reefs. And so we succeeded. We got him above the reefs, and he shot from my shoulders, and it worked.
Have you I mean, I've never seen anyone do that before. Were other guys doing it from that position on that hole?
No, nobody was. It was a really creative idea, I think.
That was very funny.
Yeah.
I think this next one might be my favorite. This is the last one. I think this is my favorite. Yeah. Bro. Bro, we gotta talk about this one. I love this. I love the caption. Groundhog saw our arms, booked it back to his hole. And Nick's front and center, flashing the guns. This is a great picture. I just thought this was funny. There's probably not a story. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, no, that's a funny picture. Dylan Dylan got me to post a lot of stuff on Instagram during our college years that I would normally have posted. He calls me an introvert, and he helped get me to post some things that I definitely wouldn't have posted.
He's the one with the glasses, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
he
Yeah.
was in a lot of your pictures. It looked like Dylan, like, took over your Instagram feed for a month or
Absolutely did. I mean, I wouldn't have posted a lot of these things, but Dylan's like, "Oh, dude, you gotta post this. This is funny." And yeah, no, it was it's a funny picture for sure.
All right, we're going to get right back to this fantastic show in just a second, but we have known a guy who's made a ton of money in a little bit of a business, okay, that he started years ago, over 6, 7 years ago, called Smart Scalpers. Our friend Kevin started this company. He's franchised it now to over 16 others. And basically, you can be your own guy. You can be your own girl. It can be a side hustle, a part-time job, a full-time job, selling tickets. You buy and sell tickets with a sophisticated and intelligent software that does it all for you, all driven over the internet, no face to face, no standing out on street corners, none of that. He franchised this model back in 2019. It's exploded. A lot of the franchisees and the brokers do the side hustle, and they're making more than even their full time job. There's no strings attached. You can get out anytime you want, and they provide the training, they provide the support staff, and they train you weekly to help you grow. So you can check out smartscalpers.com. The best thing to do is to call the number or text the number you see here on the screen, 706 755 5974, and tell them the Tour Junkies sent you. They're going to hook you up with some training. Again, it's something you could do on the side. You can do it for as little or as much as you want to do, but it's helping to broker tickets to sporting events, concerts, theaters, performances, whatever you do. Okay. If you want to go see a comedy show, if you want to see a woman sing opera, or you want to go see a baseball man or a basketball man, or maybe you want to go to the WNBA. I don't know. Anyway, if you want to do anything with tickets, if you want to make a little extra money or possibly turn something like this, work from home, into your full-time gig, check it out. Text them, call them, 706 755 5974. I've personally known Kevin for over 20 years. He's a great dude. He's trustworthy, does a lot of work with the Masters. He's a great person, and his team is fantastic. They'll set you up, they'll train you. Check it out. Let's get back to the show. Okay, I love it. All right, that was fun. That was fun to do. Thanks for being a good sport there. Let's get back to let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little golf. Our we have a pretty educated listener viewer base because every single week, like 43 weeks a year, we're breaking down the field, breaking down the tournaments, no matter what tournament it is. We're going deep. We're trying to learn about different guys that a lot of people have heard of, guys they haven't. And I think you're a guy that most of our listeners would say they're familiar with, but maybe talk a little bit about how you see like your game and beyond the stats and beyond what the stats say, but like what does Nick Hardy feel confident in? What are your biggest weapons in terms of your game translating on the PGA Tour, and maybe those things that you're trying to improve on, are possibly holding you back from like getting to that next level. And then I want to talk about your season a little bit this past year.
Yeah. I would say start off by, my most confident area of the game for sure is my driving. And, now this is a good question to ask, good time to ask it because I've gone through my stats and I know my stats, but I also know personally where I'm confident most. And after seeing my stats, yeah, I'm a great driver of the golf ball. I think I finished top 40 in strokes gained off the tee. I was surprised at how little fairways I hit this year, but I'm not missing fairways by much. I would say my driver. I'm the most confident in my driver, and I think that's really the anchor of my game. I hit it long, but not crazy long. I think that I'm just an overall great ball striker. I hit a lot of greens in regulation. One thing I'm working on is just getting my proximities better because on the PGA Tour, I obviously got tucked pins and firmer greens and tougher shells and areas that hit the ball close, but I would say I need to be a little more aggressive
Yep.
when the time is called, and that was for sure evident in my wedge game, and my proximities in my wedge game were not nearly good enough. So I think I've started to see a lot of improvement in that, especially through Corn Ferry Finals. That's something that I hope will be a lot better going into this year and will help me a lot. And I've always been a great putter. My putting stats were not as good as I wish they were, but I've turned a corner in my confidence in my putting the last, I would say, 6 months since I got hurt. That's been huge. So yeah, the areas I need to work on are short game, wedge game, but as a ball striker comes, I feel like I'm one of the best in the world.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely shows out looking at the stats. And again, we dig pretty deep into this stuff. Um, the total driving factor and strokes gained off the tee is a massively is arguably the most important stat on the PGA Tour. And you're obviously doing really well at that. And I did notice I was looking at your proximity numbers before you came on, and you gain so many strokes with long irons, right? And probably has a lot to do with your distance. And you gain a lot of strokes with those, but then you see like a lot of red numbers and losing strokes with the 100 to 150 or 125 range. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Somebody told me, I can't remember who it was. I feel like it might have been Austin Goggart. He's a friend of ours. Somebody like 3 or 4 months ago, I was talking to, and it was not on an interview or anything, but they were like, I think they had played a practice round or a real round with you or something. And we were talking about their day, and they were like, I swear it might have been Goggart, but they were like, "I don't know, but this dude Nick Hardy can roll the freaking rock. Like, he is a tremendous putter." And then I looked at your stats before this, and I was like, "Huh, the putting stats don't really show up like that."
Mhm.
But I know sometimes we all know sometimes these stats can be extremely deceiving. And if you're not being aggressive enough, which I know I've also heard a lot of guys talk about, like sometimes they have to learn that they're playing a little too conservatively. If you're not being aggressive enough, then you're not giving yourself, you know, as many looks as you probably need, right?
Exactly. So I kind of had a spell of like 6 months where I was really low on my confidence in putting. And it started with end of Corn Ferry last year and into really into through the West Coast swing. My putting was not good. I think I was like 160th in strokes gained putting for the first half of the season. And then
Mm,
once I got hurt, it gave me time to clear my mind and I was out a month and I putted. All I did was putt really. And I came out and I think I was first or second in strokes gained putting at the US Open, which was huge. But I putted well really all summer. And I looked at my stats in depth, and from 10 to 15 feet, I was well above make percentage average. I made about 36% of my putts from 10 to 15 feet. But then outside 20 to 25 feet, I was the lowest on tour. I made 4% of my putts from, I think, outside 25 feet or outside
mm,
20 feet, which I took random stats like JT and Max Homa, and they were make percentage 11%. So 4% make percentage is significantly lower than
yeah,
11%. And so I took that into account the last few weeks in on the Corn Ferry Tour, and I talked to my manager about it. I'm like, I just got to be more aggressive from 25 feet. I got to go hit those putts 4 feet by. I can't just be like trying to
yeah,
drip them in. And I feel like that was it because all of a sudden the last few weeks on the Corn Ferry Tour, I was making putts almost like one around at least from outside 25 feet just by making that point to be more aggressive.
yep. That's interesting, and it's cool that you're kind of a stats guy. I mean, we're definitely stats data nerds with this stuff, and sometimes we talk to players who are really in deep on it. Sometimes we talk to players that don't really pay much attention to it, or they have a guy that does that. Freaking Harold Varner the third just a month ago was like, "Oh, you know who my stats guys are? It's you guys. I listen to your stuff and I read your stuff," and I was like, um, so do you have a stats guy, or is that you?
No, I don't. But my
Where do you go to
manager.
find all that? Where do you go to get your data?
Yeah, PGA Tour or PGA Tour links. They do like it's great. That's another perk of playing on the PGA Tour is like they give you totally in-depth strokes gain stats.
Yeah,
And I honestly I really don't look at my stats throughout a year that much. Just after the season, I'm
yeah,
very
yeah,
I'm very analyzed into those things. Like and my manager, he's the best. He helps give me all these like in-depth stats and where I compare to the top 20 players in the world. And he's kind of figured out that you need 1.5 strokes gained above average on the PGA Tour to be a top 20 player in the world. And it's like, where are you going to get those 1.5? Like most guys get at least half a shot from strokes gained off the tee
yeah,
in the top 20. So, like, how do you, that's your pie out of those four categories? How do you get to 1.5? And I think throughout this year, I was only zero point 0.2, zero point 0.3. I think I may have been zero point 0.3 or zero point 0.4 strokes gained above average on the PGA Tour, which is not where I want to be. I would like to be closer to that 1.5. And it's like, how are you going to get to that 1.5?
yeah. So let's talk about this season really quick. I mean, I know you've already referenced the wrist injury. Hopefully that's doing well. I mean, you've played since then; it seems to be doing well. But maybe I guess like you ended up being, and hell, it was so confusing with the live stuff, and you ended up being like kind of the one guy right outside the top
Mhm.
125, right? You were 126 when everything got said and done, but then you went to Corn Ferry Tour Finals, did your thing. So hell, I'm confused as to like what is your like what's your status? Is full status like, and how's the wrist and all that?
Yeah. So I did get hurt at Louisiana. I hit a shot in the final round, wedge shot, and I just felt a pop in my wrist. And it turned out
Mm,
to be not as bad as I felt. I just like subluxated a tendon in my wrist, and I was out a month. And I've got 4 medical starts. So yeah, it was a crazy summer because I started when I got hurt and started at RBC Canadian. I was not 194th on the FedEx Cup points
yeah,
list, and
yeah,
I was well behind. And the summer season, yeah, it's like a summer season, but it's not that long. You really don't have much left of the season,
no,
and so I was well behind the 8 ball, but I played well for about a month. I played well. I played all right in Canada. I played well at the U.S. Open and Travelers, and
Travelers, yeah,
the rest of the summer I played all right. But it was just a lot of golf, and then I came into the last 3 weeks of the season, starting in Minneapolis, and I was just like starting to press a little bit. I'm like, I know I'm getting close. I know I'm playing well, but I feel like things got a little too. I made it. I placed a little bit too much of an importance on these last 3 events to really do it. And I think I learned a lot from those 3 weeks. And I learned a lot from this season. I mean, there's tons of unknowns added to everything with all the, live stuff and people leaving and,
Yeah.
like people talking about it. It's like all around you. It's just outside noise. And it's hard to put it away, especially when you're on that bubble.
Yep.
And I knew I was going to have medical starts, but still, it's like there's something. The competitiveness in me is like I'm not going to rely on those medical starts. No way. I'm going to go get into that 125 and get into the playoffs. But I think the last 2 weeks of that season, I missed the last 2 cuts. I just played so much golf. I think I was tired, but I also kind of mentally didn't go about it the right way in terms of just dumbing it down and saying, "Hey, you're playing great golf. Relax." And
Yeah.
I learned a lot from that. And so like I took that away, and I came away with a great attitude going into the finals and Corn Ferry finals, and I just played great golf. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to rely on whatever medical starts I have. I'm not going to think about the guys going to live. And it was hard, honestly, because like during that time, I played well at Boise, finished 15th, and it's like, okay, I still know I need more. I need more. But then all of a sudden, you get this Alan Shitmick report where it's like 7 guys are going to live, and I was 132, and it's 7 guys going to live, and I'm like, okay, can't think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Gotta
That
block
would be
that
tough.
out. Gotta go play well in Columbus. And all of a sudden, I played great in Columbus the second and third round. I found myself in the final group, and I just had the weirdest final round. I played bad, but I had like a lot of things just not go my way, and
Was that the
um,
playoff loss to Harry? Or was
no,
that
that was right when I came back off a wrist injury. I'm talking about
okay.
Columbus during the finals, and it's like
Oh,
I
yeah,
shot 77 in the final round, 3 putted the last hole, and all of a sudden, like I'm like still not locked up.
yeah.
And then that was that next day, that Monday 2 weeks ago, where it's like 6 guys go to live instead of 7, and I'm like, oh well, I'm 126 now, so I still have work to do at the final tournament last week in Evansville to get my card.
Yeah.
And I started off that first round 500, 600 through 12, and finished like crap, 5 over in the last 6. And I'm like, I gotta make this cut to guarantee myself Corn Ferry status or Corn Ferry
Yeah.
category status. So I do it. I play well last week, locked that up, feels a lot better. But now I have 4 medical starts to earn zero point 0.6 points to get recoup that 125 number. So my first 4 events, I basically make a cut, and
Yeah,
I'm
you're
high up in the major medical category for the rest of the year, which guarantees me Players Championship and the Invitational. So
yeah, you're good. I think you'll be
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Um, so talk about, I mean, obviously you've had a loop around the PGA Tour now. Like, if you, as you look at the courses, and obviously, the goal is that like every week you tee it up, you believe you have a chance to win, right? But what are the courses on the schedule that you just look at and go like, man, I know that one is my jam. That's the one that suits me the best or suits my eye or I feel the best about. It could even be a course. And we ask guys this question all the time. They're like, believe it or not, it's the one I've missed the cut in the last 4 years, and I don't know why. But like,
Mhm.
what are those courses for you that you just feel like, man, this could be like Nick Hardy's first win is this one or this one?
I think I go straight to Torrey Pines.
Mm.
I It's just that's a type of ballpark I love, like U.S. Open type
Yep.
courses. I love those
You
courses.
love
Like,
tough tracks. Like, I was looking at
yeah.
your performances. I mean, made what, 3 of 5 cuts in a US Open with, T14, T27, and those. It seems like you really like those tougher golf courses.
Oh, I've always been well suited for tough golf courses, and it goes back a long way. But I feel like Olympia Fields, like that was our home event
Yeah.
in Illinois. I never won it, but I play well every year there. It's just the tough golf courses like that, the big ballparks with rough or tough, tree line courses like that, old school courses. Just suit my game the best. It's like a driver's paradise and a ball striker's paradise.
Yeah.
I feel like those mid irons, those tough golf courses, I feel like I'm a really good player out of the rough. It just really suits my game, and I didn't make the cut at Torrey this year. I think I shot 5 or 6 under at the North Course, and then played not well in the South Course the next day. But that was not nearly a good head shape with my game or confident in my game at that point in time. And I feel like that's a type of course that I really play well at.
What about courses that you just like, man, like I hope I can like like, let's say you win next week. Are you playing in Napa?
Yeah.
All right, let's say you win next week and you're like, "Sweet, now I can, like, really pick my schedule, and these are the ones I am not going to." The ones that you just don't you're like, "Ah, I just don't know that's the best for me."
It's hard for me to say because I really believe that I can
I know you
win.
do. I know
Like,
you do.
I will say not to dog one tournament or one course. I love the whole West Coast swing, love it. But if there was one tournament I wouldn't play, it'd probably be um, Palm Springs, just because it's more of like a wedge fest with no wind and three different golf courses.
Yeah,
I just feel like I need to get better, and I will get better in my wedge game. But
yeah,
I just feel like that is a type of golf course where it doesn't totally suit my game because there's not too much penalty off the tee. One, you can basically hit it anywhere, and you got to go shoot 20 under. I mean, there's no doubt I can do that, but
yeah.
I like a golf course where there's maybe a little bit of difficulty off the tee at times, but also where it's not like we're gonna have some 7 irons and some 5 irons in the greens.
Yeah. You also, like, statistically, and this could just be a small sample size, but statistically, your strokes gained on POA is, like, way better than bent or Bermuda, and relative to everyone else on the PGA Tour. Is that are you just really comfortable on POA, whereas a lot of
That's
people hate it?
that's something I noticed too, and I was shocked by it. But when I think about it, I putt with kind of a really high up attack angle,
Mm,
and I think that's why because I get the ball rolling by maybe getting hitting a little more up on it than most people with putting, and I think that really helps on pulling at greens because obviously a lot of times in pulling at greens you get the unevenness of surface,
yeah.
and I think that's why.
Interesting. Alright, so now let's have a little more fun here. We've talked enough golf. We're gonna end on some fun stuff. Uh, our show has we're biggest fans of this next guy, and I ask everybody that comes on the show if you've had encounters with Siwoo Kim, and if you have any good Siwoo Kim stories.
I don't have any great Siwoo stories, but I did play with Praktron with him. I think in Palm Springs this year.
Okay,
We randomly met up on the first tee, but he couldn't have been a nicer guy. I don't. I wish I had a story about it, but it was a fun day. We just played 9 holes together and got to know him. But I unfortunately don't have any Siwoo stories.
okay. Well, this is what I say to anybody who doesn't have those. I just say, hey, take just I'm just a piece of advice from a guy from a weird podcaster guy that you just met. Siwoo Kim is pure electricity, and you just create moments with Siwoo. Okay, whether that's if he's sitting by himself at a table at breakfast, go have a seat. If you get a chance to play another practice round, do it. If you're paired up with him, just like pay attention. He's we've heard countless stories from players and caddies. Matt Naismith just said he's the funniest guy on the PGA Tour. Siwoo Kim is you need to do it. Just trust me.
I believe it. I've watched him throw clubs on TV, and it just doesn't look like he cares. But he
Actually,
obviously really cares.
the putter that he broke at the Masters on 15 a couple years ago is right. You probably can't see it, but it's laying on top. See the top end of that putter?
Yeah.
The grip, it's right on top of that.
Did
Anyway,
he give that to you?
no, but we're such big fans of him. I mean, we literally worship him. Our best-selling piece of merchandise is a Siwoo Kim T-shirt, and we talk about him all the time. That like some guy, I guess, dug it out of the trash. I don't even know how he got it, but he just messaged me on Instagram and was like, "Dude, I got the top half of Siwoo's putter. If you want it, I'll give it to you." And I was like, "How much?" And he said, "I'll ship it to you for free." I was like, "Hell yeah!" And it is Siwoo's putter. I've confirmed it with him. It's his.
That's
So,
amazing.
I'd love to have the bottom half of it, but I don't know if I'll ever get it. All right, a couple of, weird, just random questions to get to know Nick Hardy. If you could punch a celebrity in the face without any consequence, who you punching? Celebrity, just famous person with no consequence.
Who do you think, Lindsay?
It could be an athlete.
It
Oh,
could
who's
be
that?
anybody.
Yeah, it could be anybody.
Oh man.
Like, I think about a guy like Bryce Harper,
Mhm.
again, without consequence, because then if Bryce Harper would kick my ass, but
Yeah.
just without consequence, That guy is very punchable. Who's Lizzie? Is that your fiance, your wife?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, while you're thinking of that, here's another question. Are y'all married yet? I know you're engaged, right?
We're engaged.
Okay. So, I've been married for a while. I love asking guys this question too. What's the one thing that you do on a almost daily basis, regular basis, that annoys the shit out of her? That maybe, like, you wouldn't find if I'd asked you, like, 10 years ago, is this annoying? You'd be like, "No." But there's always one thing that people do. Like, HV3 said she gets mad at him because he leaves his dip shavings in the sink. Like, God dang it, don't be a barbarian.
There are definitely things I annoy you with every day. What is that one? Oh, I don't flush the toilet. When when I pee, okay?
Okay, thank God, okay.
Yeah, no, I literally refuse. When I go to the bathroom to do number 1, I
Are you
don't.
just a water conservationist, or what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe part of that, like, why waste a flush when it's just when your pee is 93% water, like, what is the difference? And mine doesn't usually smell, so it's like, you know.
A lot of urine talk with Nick Hardy today. That's cool. Have you figured out who you're punching in the face yet?
Curtis Thompson.
Curtis Thompson, the golfer?
Yeah.
What's the story behind that? Y'all are probably boys.
Yeah, we're oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we are, but he's got a punchable face too, and no consequence. I know he could kick my ass, but, like,
Yeah.
he's just we were partners at Zurich, and, I mean, yeah, like, he'll bother you.
You're partners with him at Zurich? I didn't know
Oh, yeah.
alright, well, I was gonna ask you this one, but I don't know if I should with Lizzie in the room. I was gonna ask you your celebrity hall pass. I don't know if that would get you in trouble.
It might. Nikki Heaton, probably.
Who's that? I
She
have
was
no
a
idea.
singer. I didn't even say it. Lizzie said it.
Oh, she said it for you.
Yeah,
I
she said
oh,
it for me. I just heard her say it. I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good one, actually."
I gotta look up Nikki Heaton. Alright, favorite funny movie?
Um, Definitely, it's gotta involve Will Ferrell, I think.
Mhm,
I love Step Brothers.
yep. My favorite funny movie involves Will Ferrell, it's The Other Guys.
That's a great one.
Also, I caddied for Will Ferrell one time.
Really? Where?
Yeah, at Augusta Country Club. Yeah, great story. It's too long to tell you now, but, well, I'm a huge Will Ferrell fan. Are you a podcast listener? Do you listen to anything? What do you
Oh,
like to
yeah.
listen to?
Mhm.
What's in your
Well, right
library?
now, it's all football. Fantasy football,
Big
Bears.
fantasy football guy?
Oh, yeah.
Nice, alright. I just had a couple drafts. You're a Bears fan, so, I mean, ugh, outlook
Yeah,
not so great there, right?
it's miserable, but I endure all of it.
You probably waited till the late rounds to grab Cole Kmet. That was probably, like, the most viable
I
value for
like him, but I didn't grab him. I play in 2 leagues. I didn't grab him in either one. I
Oh,
like him, but the Bears offense is gonna be not fun.
yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Are you good at fantasy football? You ever won?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Who do you play in a league with? Just, like, college buddies or
High school buddies, and then I actually am in one with Gogs, Austin Goggard.
you're in with Goggart?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We talk a lot of crap to each other on the road,
I'm
that's for
sure.
sure. Yeah.
I'm sure. Are you on that Call of Duty train too with those guys? You play Call of
I
Duty a lot?
love Call of Duty. I would be addicted, but I don't allow myself to get an Xbox, and if I got one, Lizzie would throw it out for sure.
Yeah, let me just tell you, that was like that was major problems in my marriage year 1, I'll tell you that. Um, Also, Siwoo Kim, big Call of Duty guy.
Oh
So
gosh, he's the
so maybe
best.
if you're on the road, you could, like, go to Goggart's room and just try to line up something with Siwoo. Are you a YouTube guy, watching any YouTube channels? Anything like what's your favorite?
No, not really. No.
Okay, okay. Alright, the last thing I got, and I don't know if you saw the email, but I asked about 2 truths and a lie. So, yeah, so you're gonna tell me 2 things true about you, 1 thing that is a lie. I'm gonna try to guess the lie. Hit me.
Okay. Um, I've um, I've turned orange eating too many carrots. Um, I have um, I I drink coffee every day. and my favorite sport growing up was NASCAR.
Mm, okay. Turned orange eating carrots is interesting. You are an Illini guy. What is an Illini? What does that even mean, by the way?
It's an old Indian tribe. I don't ask me any more questions though about
Oh God.
that.
Oh God, they're still allowed to do that? Um,
Dude, I mean, we got rid of the chief like what in 2005?
oh, you did?
Yeah, so like that was you know I think offensive to the Native American culture,
Yeah.
so that's why they got rid of it. But they got rid of it a long time ago.
Man, I would have never guessed that. I just thought
That
like
was
an
like it wasn't our mascot, but it was our symbol. I think we called it a symbol,
uh,
and so we would like celebrate it during half times of games and stuff. But
yeah.
yeah, that went away a long time ago.
I've always wondered what the hell is an Illini? Okay. So turned orange eating carrots. Drink coffee every day. You don't strike me as a coffee drinker. I think the coffee drinker is the lie.
You're right. I am a coffee
Oh,
drinker.
oh, you are?
You're right. I am a coffee drinker though. I'm drinking one right now. I just don't drink it every day. I mean, I only drink it when I'm really not playing golf.
What are you talking about? You turned orange as a kid when you ate carrots a lot or something?
Yes, yes.
That's the only thing I was like, okay, that might be true.
Only thing I ate was carrots and apricots when I was 1 year old, and I turned bright orange, and my parents took me to the doctor freaking out. Yeah,
You must be the oldest. Are you the oldest?
I am.
Yeah, that's why.
I have 3 younger sisters.
A NASCAR guy, huh? You still a NASCAR guy?
I am not a NASCAR guy anymore, but yeah, I was a massive NASCAR guy. I would watch I would watch the qualifying races when I was like 10 years old. I would watch everything. I would sit in the I would get every newspaper clipping of the starting 43 every weekend, and that's all I'd watch. Yeah. So
Sick.
my favorite numbers, 3 favorite numbers are 3, 8, and 24. 3 for Dale Earnhardt, 8 for
June.
Junior, and 24 for
Jeff
Gordon.
Gordon.
Gordon was my favorite, but those are my favorite numbers to this day because of NASCAR.
Nice. Nice. Listen, man, very interesting stuff. We appreciate you being on the Tour Junkies podcast. Obviously, your homework is to create Siwoo Kim moments and then report back to us, okay? Slide in my DMs or something and let me know when something hits because it'll hit. I promise you.
Is
Um,
there any like leeway for him to like if I offer him to go take him to a dinner spot, what's his favorite food or something?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely stalk him on Instagram a good bit. He loves to eat. He's one of those. If you watch his stories, phone eats first for Siwoo. You know what I mean? He's very constantly taking pictures of his meals. And I feel like I see a lot of good steak. He just likes a good old steakhouse. So I think
Okay,
you
that's
can get him
that's
with
good.
that.
That's easy.
He complained in Scotland. He posted a picture in Scotland. I think during the Scottish Open, bitching about no Starbucks. So he likes Starbucks, so you can invite him on a Starbucks date. That would
He's
be
so
sick.
mainstream. He's so mainstream.
He's very basic. He's a
Yeah.
basic bitch, Siwoo is. Um, but yeah, try some of that. I don't know, man. I'm just telling you, you will not regret it. And ask around. Ask around. Be like, you ever had any funny things with Siwoo? And I promise you'll get it. Some of you rookies, I've been asking a lot of the rookies. I get it. Y'all don't have a lot of interaction with them, but another year on tour, I guarantee you something happens. You're like, damn.
That's,
Um, so that's the homework, man. And yeah, other than that, man, play great. Have a good year. We'll see you out there, and would love to have you back on the show sometime.
thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed it, guys.
Thanks for
Thank
the
you.
time, Nick. See you, dude.
See ya.